Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Okay, so today we're diving into this really fascinating contrast between fiction and reality. We're looking at chaos versus absolute serenity to figure out exactly how our mindset literally shapes our reality. On one hand, we've got this classic children's fable about a very, let's say, easily agitated bear. And on the other hand, we're taking a trip to the very real, deeply spiritual town of Tawang, which is tucked way up high in the mountains of Arunachal Pradesh, India. By bringing these two totally different stories together, we're going to uncover a pretty profound lesson about conflict, peace, and where we actually look for our contentment.
Now, I want you to really think about this question as we go through this. How do you react when life stings you? Because let's face it, we are all searching for our own version of honey, right? Whether that's happiness, success, or just a little bit of peace of mind. But the road to getting there, yeah, it's rarely smooth. We all hit obstacles, we deal with frustrations, and we take some stings along the way. So the absolute crucial point here is that how we choose to handle those unexpected roadblocks changes literally everything about our journey. To really paint a picture of this, let's look at a pretty stark comparison. In our fable, Mr. Bear checks his cupboard, finds no honey, and his immediate reaction to the absolute slightest frustration out in the forest is just blinding rage. He wants what he wants, and he's completely willing to destroy his surroundings to get it. Now contrast that fictional temper tantrum with the very real, deeply grounded resilience of Tawang. This is a real town that witnessed the literal horrors and gunfire of the 1962 Indochina War. I mean, their peace was completely shattered. Yet, instead of lashing out at the world, the people there chose to cultivate a lasting, deeply rooted spiritual peace. Two wildly different reactions. Let's see how a lack of mindfulness can turn into a total disaster. Section 1. The Sting of Conflict. Okay, so we're heading into the forest with Mr. Bear for a textbook example of exactly what not to do. And the escalation here is just wonderfully absurd. Mr. Bear finds a hive, sticks his paw right in, and a single bee flies out to protect its home, stinging him smack on the nose. Now, instead of taking a step back, Mr. Bear's ego completely flares up. He thinks, I'm bigger than you and I am stronger than you. So what's his brilliant move? He grabs this massive stick and just starts swinging. He swings and swings until he completely smashes the hive to pieces. Just absolute destruction. And his reward for asserting his dominance? A terrifying, deafening buzzing sound. Thousands of angry bees swarm out of that ruined hive, stinging him on his ears, his elbows, his arms, his legs, and basically chasing him all the way home. His raging temper literally turned one tiny sting into 1,000. Whew. Okay, let's just take a deep breath here and completely change gears. Let's drop the pace for a second. 20 years. That is a really long time. And it's the exact amount of time a man named Neki Baya has lived in total isolation, giving us the absolute perfect antidote to the bear's chaotic mindset. Section 2. Finding Peace in Isolation. So we are traveling deep into the mountains surrounding Tawang to meet Neki Baya. He's a solitary herdsman known as a Brakpa, and he is the ultimate real-world contrast to the bear's restless anger. Neki Baya has been thriving in this remote wilderness for 2 whole decades, and you've got to hear these details because they are incredibly grounding. He lives in a super simple hut made of bamboo and tin that he actually built himself in just 3 days. 3 days. He survives alongside his 10 yaks and cows, letting them graze while he gathers firewood just to make it through the bitter cold. There are no roads out here. Zero electricity. His only connection to the outside world is this little solar-powered radio he uses to catch some music and news. He is so far removed from the chaotic rush of modern life that he only hikes down to the village to see his family maybe once every 5 or 6 months. Now, what's genuinely fascinating here is the profound reality of his contentment. In a world where we are constantly told we need more, more connection, more stuff, more honey, Neki Baya politely declines the entire concept of being unhappy. When people ask if the solitude gets to him, this camera-shy, incredibly gentle man just smiles and softly shakes his head no. He doesn't fight his environment at all. He just exists in perfect harmony with it. He's already found his inner honey. Section 3. A Community of Spirit. But here's the thing. The serenity of Tawang isn't only found in complete, total isolation. It also scales up into this incredible shared resilience. And that brings us to places like the Ani Gompa. So Tawang is famous for its massive main monastery, which is honestly like a small city housing over 400 to 500 monks. But the Ani Gompa is uniquely special. It's a monastery run entirely by female monks, or nuns. It stands as this powerful sanctuary where women gather for deep spiritual devotion and really strong shared community support. Some of these women come with prayers for a child, while others are there simply out of pure devotion. It's living proof that the folks here don't just find peace alone. They actively build these beautiful, supportive communities to nurture it together. And this shared spirit brilliantly illustrates how the locals respond to adversity. Take the Choksam Bridge, for example. It's suspended right over the Tuong River and was built an astonishing 600 to 700 years ago using ancient iron and bamboo. I mean, it has survived the harshest mountain elements and even the gunfire of 1962. But recently, it faced a very modern conflict. Thieves actually came in and stole 25 pieces of its antique iron. Now the government is stepping in to add transparent shutters and beef up security. But how do the locals respond to this blatant violation of their heritage? They don't riot. They don't go smashing things like our friend the bear. Instead, they continuously walk across that bridge, covering it end to end in colorful Buddhist prayer flags, literally blanketing the site of the theft with prayers for universal peace. Section 4. The Trap of Anger versus Good Karma. So, we've seen the chaotic escalation of the bear and the grounded serenity of Tuong. If we put these two head-to-head, we can clearly see that the people of Tuong operate on a mindset of deep mindfulness. This is especially highlighted during the sacred month of Sakadawa. As one local explained while hanging prayer flags on the bridge, during this specific time, every single action is magnified. Good deeds multiply, bad deeds multiply. Because of this, the entire community actively abstains from eating meat or fish for a whole month. They weigh their actions so carefully, deliberately choosing to cultivate good karma and projecting prayers for the peace of all living beings, totally regardless of whatever external stings they might be facing. And then we have the bear. He comes running home, slamming the door behind him, just completely covered from head to toe in bee stings. And his wife, Mrs. Bear, just looks at him with absolute exasperation. She says, "You did it again, didn't you? You lost your temper." She just sighs and hands him the bee sting medicine while he sits there crying and counting his wounds. His total lack of mindfulness, his complete inability to weigh his actions, resulted in entirely self-inflicted pain. Comparing these two mindsets side by side builds a really clear picture of cause and effect. Think about the catalysts. Mr. Bear faces a super minor annoyance. A single bee essentially tells him to go away. Tuong, on the other hand, faced massive historical conflict and harsh, freezing isolation. Now think about the reactions. The bear swings a stick, focuses entirely outward, and destroys his surroundings in a fit of rage. Tuong looks inward. They turn to devotion, they build monasteries, and they raise prayer flags. And will the results definitely speak for themselves? The bear ends up chased, trapped, and in a lot of physical pain. The people of Tuong, whether it's Neki Baya in his remote hut or the nuns at the Anigompa, they achieve a lasting, grounded peace and real inner contentment. Section 5. The honey was inside. But hold on, because we haven't quite finished the fable yet. There is a final twist to Mr. Bear's disastrous afternoon that perfectly ties our two stories together. As Mrs. Bear is handing her crying husband the medicine for his hundreds of stings, she casually mentions something else. She says, "Oh, also, we have honey in the cupboard. It's right behind the flower." This is the great tragic comedy of the whole story. Mr. Bear endured all that pain, threw a massive tantrum, and literally fought the external world for absolutely no reason. He went searching the dangerous forest for something that he already possessed at home. If he had only just looked a little deeper in his own cupboard. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway from today's explainer. The people of Tuong understand what the bear just simply did not. Contentment isn't found by violently conquering the world around you. It's found by looking inward. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to carry with you. The next time life inevitably stings you, do you needlessly smash the hive and invite 1,000 more stings? Or do you channel the spirit of Tuong, take a deep breath, and look inside your own cupboard for peace? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.